Not long ago, I woke up with a hangover. And it was in the morning I felt terrible. And it wasn't the tiredness or the headache or the dizziness that was bothering me. It was the guilt. Yeah, you've guessed it already. It was a political hangover. It was the morning after the European elections. And the people of Europe had just said a big fat no to all of us politicians. Half of Europe's population did not use their right to vote, and amongst those who voted, 1/3 voted for EU-critical parties. So that's why I felt guilty. I felt like maybe we had just left the people. Some would say that the people left us politicians, but I woke up and felt like maybe we left them. And so when I was invited to give this talk, I hardly didn't know where to start. So I'm going to start here. This guy, his name is Henning. He's a plumber, and that's right, Henning the plumber. And Henning, he's a real person. And when I talked to him, he heads the Danish Plumber Association, and I talked to him, and I asked him what we should do. And then he reminded me of something I did when I was a minister. And he said to me, Ida, I think you should come back to what you did in the open ministry. So now I'm going to tell you about the process of creating an open ministry, which we did in the Ministry for the Environment. We had a huge, very burning platform, or should I say, very wet platform, because we were going to adapt all of Denmark to climate change. And knowing the storms that you have just had, I know that all of you know that this is a big task, to keep water out of people's homes, to keep it out of the sewers, to make sure we don't have floodings everywhere. It's a huge task. So we knew we couldn't use the old measures of fixing this problem by building just bigger tubes, because then we would have to build pipes as big as the metro line to handle all the water that can come in with one storm. So we had to look at the people out there and think, maybe they have some new ideas. Let's talk to them. Let's not just talk to the old lobbyist. So what we did was to talk to the people first, that we analyzed who do we think are the important, relevant people to talk to regarding climate change. And we got out to a level of pretty many experts and people working with this. But we asked them two questions. We asked them, what do you think is the most important matter to deal with regarding climate change? And who do you think we should talk to? So they pointed out on the next level of people. And we asked them the same two questions. What should we do? And who do you think we should talk to? And suddenly we got out to more than 200 different stakeholders and groups that all felt that they had something to do with climate change. And what we did was to invite them all into a workshop. And this was a crazy day. Can you imagine this happening? Meeting in the ministry with everyone from the Danish Business Association to the architects working with nature and cities, to working to the house owners associations, the plumbers associations, together with insurance companies and experts. They were all there. And so we had a series of workshops working on our climate adaptation strategy. And so I want to point to a couple of the results coming out of this strategy, because we had at least 4 things that I think no ministry and no politician that says it's waste of time to involve people can get around. First of all, we found a big mistake. And if there's anything civil servants hate, it's mistakes, So when they were already convinced when we found out we had a big hole in our thinking. I can tell you later what the hole was. I'm not going to tell you all of it. But we had a hole. And secondly, we got a lot of new ideas from the people involved. So we got ideas like, let's not handle the water by just putting it into the sewers. Let's use the parks we have around to percolate the water. Let's use the parks or the streets we have to have the water running in the side when it runs really heavily. Let's use nature and cities. Let's go away from all this concrete everywhere and handle the water in this way. It's much more expensive and much more interesting cities we get out of it. The third result was that we actually got a lot of legitimacy from our strategy. When we published the strategy, of course, not all the ideas and all the concerns of all these stakeholders were addressed, but quite a lot. And this strategy, of course, also cost some money. So we would have to raise water prices just a little bit to handle all the extra rain coming. And you know what? When the House Owners Association said, it's okay, you can raise water prices a little bit, I knew that we had succeeded. And the fourth thing was that we got a lot of ambassadors out there. And one of them was Henning, the plumber. He was very happy. Actually, he and his colleagues, all the plumbers in Denmark, they offered everyone a free climate check of their property to see if there are any installations that should be fixed, anything that could be done so that people would not have water in their houses. And better yet, the insurance companies that we had involved, they said, okay, you make the climate check, people fix their houses, we give them a discount on their insurance premiums. So suddenly we had everybody working on the same things. So you had city planners now working with architects and designers and musicians and artists, and we came up with stuff like this. Why not, when we are making these big reservoirs and holes to store water, let's not make just a hole in the ground that's sort of a dead part of the city. Let's make a big, really cool skating park when it doesn't rain. So we didn't have a dead part of the city, we got this Rabalderparken in very close to Roskilde Festival. Well, so these were some of the results. But it doesn't end here because the guilt is not gone. I have to go back to my guilt. You know, you have to go deep inside. I'm also a theologian, so I know that guilt is something that you have to handle and take very, very serious. So I had to sort of look at myself again and say, well, it's not only the systems that seems closed, it's also us politicians. We seem so remote. We talk about, it seems it's all spin and strategy and personal interest, and all we talk about are fiscal balances and budgets and 2020 plans. It's like we've forgotten what politics is about, that it's about people. So my question that I came here to London to speak to you about was actually this: how to win back the people. And it's not like I have all the answers, but I thought maybe there are some politicians who actually did this recently. And I looked, and I looked, and I looked. And then I found somebody who did succeed in winning back people all over the world. So let me introduce you to this woman. Her name is, somebody's laughing, that's the people that saw the series Auken. I want to know, I've heard it's very popular here. How many saw Auken? Raise your hands. Great. So this is a Danish series about politics, and this is the fictional Prime Minister of Denmark called Birgitte Nyborg. And actually what I thought that I could learn from her is to be human. I think she gained people's hearts because she dared to be human. She dared to show that she can be sad, that she has a temper, that she's not afraid to say to her civil servants and her spin doctors, I just think we should do this because it's the right thing to do. And she's, like everybody else, has problems balancing the private life and the public life. It's not easy. So like we heard in an earlier talk, it is not always easy to be a politician, and she helped us to show that. But she also showed how political problems can often be very complex. Sometimes you're wondering, why aren't the politicians just doing the right thing? Well, as soon as you get behind the scenes, you find out there is no such thing as the right thing. Often politicians just have two options, a terrible option and an even worse option. And then you choose the terrible option and you try to get people to understand why it's better than the really, really horrible option. And I think Auken and Birgitte, the look behind the scenes with Birgitte Nyborg actually gave us some of that understanding, and that's why I think we politicians can learn from her. But she's not the only one that I found. I also found this guy. Again, people who saw Borgen will laugh, because this is the leader from the same series of the Danish People's Party. And why did I come to him? Well, it's because he's out of the bubble, you know? He's out of the spin doctor, politician, bureaucrat bubble. He looks like a normal person, he speaks like a normal person, he gets offended like a normal person, he fights for normal people, and that's what they feel. So the really cool politician should be the one that could combine the two. The human, professional prime minister handling all the very difficult problems, but doing it in a way where people really feel that you take their problems serious, that they are part of it. So what I think we should do is to understand that there is no quick fix to win back people. There's only this long and very bumpy road. And we have to walk it every day, in every decision we make, in every time we give a public speech. We have to show people that we are like them, that we are human beings, that we take them serious, and that there are difficulties in politics. It's not because we are stupid or evil. Sometimes it's just difficult to do the right thing. So I have to attack one more hero before I leave. I will attack two, but one is the old German Chancellor Bismarck. Because, remember what he said? That making laws is like making sausages. You'd rather not want to see how they're made. And you know what? I think he's wrong. I think we are in a time of Wikipedia, Wikimedia, Wikipolitics, and we have to involve people in the policy making. We have to show them what's in the sausages, because they can do it themselves. And this is why I will attack him, and I will attack another of my great heroes, but I can live with it. It's Bill Clinton. I will not attack him. It was his advisor who said it. He said, that politics, it's the economy is stupid. I disagree. I think we should come back to, all of us, what politics is really about. It's the people stupid. Thank you.